In this section, I will explain about the cascading style sheet, or usually people say this is as CSS. Okay, we call it cascading style sheet. With the web framework, there are also templates using the CSS. The web framework provides a style template so everybody can use immediately. So style is related to CSS, cascade styling sheet, and the basic CSS is related to the body. CSS means something about the style, and the style is something that you want to show to the user. If you want to show to the user, it means the showing will be on the body section. Now let's see with one example how we can do with the CSS, and then I will also make in the table. So let's make a new function, add the function index2. This is index2. And put it into the file fuse.py in the folder pools. So I put all the files, all the function into this fuse.py. Okay, let me just have this one. In the fuse.py, let me make a new function, index2. So I will discuss what is it. Okay. And then this will connect with the table css.html. Okay, as you know, first you create the fuse.py. It means the backend, what you're going to do with your data, and then put the URL so the user can connect to your backend. So it means this is the CSS. So this is in the urls.css. And the last one, after the fuse URLs, and then now make the HTML. Okay. So those three you need to remember to create your website. So this one, let me just copy and paste. Okay. You can just Control A and then put the file in the templates, and I'm going to create a new HTML file, which is table CSS. Okay, so this code is too long, so you need to check all the files. Okay, so copy and paste all the files into your table css.html, and you can just put it in the folder templates. Now you can see table CSS. Hello world example. So this is a very basic hello world example made up in HTML and CSS. See if you can change the size of the header text above, and you have a table. Now let's see the HTML file. We have the title, and then we have the style. So style here, at first, it will determine the body. So the body background color will be this color. So maybe it is difficult to understand. We got this is the hexadecimal. This is the code to determine color. It is using the hexadecimal, and this hexadecimal you can see the color like this one. So if this is the code, then you will have this almost black color. So I will not explain this one. This is the hexadecimal. Usually we can do something with the algorithm. If you understand the if you have interest, you can check the hexadecimal color. So there are some ways to determine. If you're using the coloring with the RGB, so it means you can detect what is the R. What is the R means the red. And what is the G is the green. And what is the B? The blue. So the number will be between 0 until 255. 0 until 255. And blue will show from 0 until 255. So the color is a combination between red and green and blue. After we have this combination, we can convert it into this hexadecimal. The hexadecimal is a number between 0. So one section is a number between 0 until 9. And then it can be followed by alphabet from A to F. I think this is the very basic of hexadecimal. If you want to know more, you can check on the other side. Okay? I will not explain about this one. So let's say I'm using the hexadecimal for this background color, and this is the color. Actually, you can change. Let's say I want to make the color is like this one. So whenever you click this one, then the color will change accordingly. So I want to change to red, then it becomes red. And then H1, please remember H1. This is about the header. So the header color will be this color. So again, you can change also. Let's say if I want to change to blue. And then the font size is 30, and then the family or the font family is this one. P is the paragraph. So the paragraph, we want to put the color white, and then the font family is this one. Then in the body, I can define H1. So hello world example is using the H1. So H1 will use this style. P paragraph, this will use the style from here. And then we have table. So the table, because there is no definition about the style, so it is just a table. Then if you refresh this one, then becomes like this. Okay. Now, if you look at the table, we have the city name, population, country. So we have P. You still remember TX? TX is the table header. And then for the first row, it will be the table header. And then for the next, it is the table row data. So the TR, every TR will connect to the data from your list, which is about cities. So you can look at this one. The cities is the data that you have, and every data we want to check based on the name. the population, and the country. So you can look at the data here, cities. So in these cities, we have lists. I hope that you already understand Python. Okay. So in Python, if it is started with this square bracket, it is list. Okay. And then we have the curly bracket. The curly bracket. So the curly bracket here is one data and it has key and value. Key and value. Key and value. So the key is the name. The name is Mumbai. Then we have the value is Mumbai. Population is the key and the value is 19 million. The country is the key and the value is India. So every data we have three attributes. The attributes are name, population, and country. And the value are different. Okay, the value is different. The first value is Mumbai, the second value is Calcutta, the third value is New York, the fourth value is Chicago, and the fifth value is Tokyo. And also the population is different, and it is the country. Okay, and you want to put this data into a table. Then you can just call this one with the for loop. Okay, I skipped the explanation with the Python file. I hope that you understand the Python files. And we can get this one. The name, if the name is Mumbai, so we will put it into the first row. So we get the population of the Mumbai and we get the country of the Mumbai. If the city name is Calcutta, this is the population and this is the country. If the name is New York, then this is the population, this is the country, and so on. Okay. So in this case, if you have the data in Python or if you have the data in database, you can get from the database and then you can show it into the HTML. Okay, so this is the result. So I mentioned here, it is better practice to put the CSS and JS in a static form. So there will be CSS and JS. So I will explain more about this one. It will be explained in the later section. So we will learn JS, which is the JavaScript. So we will learn more this one after the meeting. So I will also teach you how to put them into the static form. Okay. Next is how we can combine the Bootstrap into the Django. You already did your first assignment, the HTML assignment. I think most of you use the Bootstrap. Okay, it is good. But now how we can combine the HTML with Bootstrap into Django. So here we want to make a login base, but something is not connected with the database because we don't have the database right now. So let's make the user interface or the UI, which is the front end. Previously, we have learned the introduction of Bootstrap. So this section attempts to show more examples on how to leverage Bootstrap into Django. Now I'm going to show you to create a login page. But there is no function to connect to the database, just the user interface. Let's create a folder or directory login. in the templates. And then let's create two HTML files, paste and login. Let's see in the here in the templates. Let's make a new directory, login, and then let's have paste.html and login.html. Let's have paste.html and then we have login.html. For the login.html, let's use this one. So this is the HTML file first. Let's copy and paste and put into the login. For the second part, the paste.html, let's use this one. Let's copy and paste into the paste.html. Now let's put also the URLs. Okay, so I will put the other part. I hope that you understand how to put this one. So in the urls.py, you can put one more, which is about login. So the login, it means this is the URL that you will put in your website, and then it will go to the function user login, and the name is user login. Okay, now let's see what is login for. Oh, I did not. Oh, this one is okay. I need to copy and paste the user login. So I need to also make a new function user login in the views.py. Sorry, I didn't copy this one. Okay. Okay, let's see. So, okay, now you can see this user interface. Okay, I hope there is no issue. You just copy and paste, and I think there will be no problem. Is there any error in your computer? So in this case, it is the user login that we can use, but I think it is not. There is no function to connect to the database. That's why you cannot see, you cannot do the register. So the register is not working well. But this is just to make sure that you can do something. Okay. So later we will check this one. We will use this one to do the login things. So I will explain this in the next week actually. So the username, yeah, we need to check. The password, we need to check, and we need to do the authentication. If the user is not known, yeah, then we can do the login. And then we can check where is the account. But we at this time we don't have the account. And then if it is incorrect, then we will go back to the login page. And then if it is incorrect, then you will show the message incorrect username, something like this. So this is the overall process if you want to do the user login. But now I don't want to discuss this one. We will do this one later after we have the database. Now let's go to the login information. Now the HTML part is more complicated. Okay? I hope that you already learned about the HTML from your assignment, and also you already know how to pick this kind of file. So head. Okay. This is head section. This is the title. You know the meta. So the meta means something to deal about your HTML file. So you can use it in different kind of devices. And this is the initial skill. And the link, it is related to the bootstrap. So I'm going to use the bootstrap from the CN, the content delivery network, and I'm using the bootstrap.min.css. So this is the body. So this is the body that from the bootstrap. I use just a kind of template from the bootstrap about the navigation. So in the navigation part, this is the things. They make a definition about the container, and then about the navigation bar header, and then it can be collapsed. So we can have the icon bar. So they prepare this icon bar for you to make something. And this is the my Django app. So if you click here, you can define where you want to click. Okay. And then if you go to the login part, then it means you do the login. So if you see here, this is a Django app. So nothing happened here because you don't specify the href. If you want to specify, then you can go to somewhere. If you click this one, it means you can define here. Now the href is blank. The login. Okay. The login part, you can see here login. So the login, if you do the login, here, so this is login. Then when you click this one, you can go to somewhere. But at this moment, we don't have the login. Okay. You can see here, this is another container. And this container contains one row, and in this row there is a block content. So we want to put something here. What is here? We want to put the login.html. So this is the login.html. The login.html, we have the base.html, and then we want to extend it. This is the extend. Okay, so from the previous one, we use the header from base.html. We use everything from the base.html, and then the content is this one. Okay. And when you see the content, you will see here, this user interface is good. But in order to create this good user interface, it requires a lot of information. Okay. So for example, we need to create a container. And then after that, you need to connect to the home. So the form means I'm going to use the user login. The form user login is from the one that you define in the fuse.py. So the fuse.py, we have the user login. We define here user login. We define the user login in the URL list. And then CS artifact token. So I will explain this one later, not today, because it is related with the database. And this div, this is only just a kind of template to define how many panels do you have. Yeah. So this is the column MBA. The panel. So if there is error message, you will show the error message here. And then this is the class to define the input. What's input? We have input the username. The username is the username that you have, that is this one. And then this is the div for password. So you will ask the user to input the password. And the last one is the part to define the submit, which is a button. And you can have also register. Register means if it is a new user, then you need to register. So you can see, actually this is simple. Username. But you need to make some good design. So it means you need to create the class. You need to create the label. And then you need to know how big is this class. So the password is the same. You need to define the class. And then you need to make the label. And then you need to define the div for this class. You can make the button login, and this is the class. So basically, if you understand the HTML, it is not difficult to understand this code. So you just need to know where is the location of the div, and then where is the location of the label, where is the location of the input. Then you can easily understand the content. Okay, so this is the UI. In the bootstrap, I think in the first part of the bootstrap, I explained very briefly about this. So in bootstrap, they have the span. The span they divide into 12. So the whole page, it means span equals to 12. If you want to split the page into two, then it means the span equals to 6. When you want to make it into two with different size, so you can have span 4 and span 8. Or if you want to make three different size equally, so you have span 4, span 4, span 4. Or if you want to make every single span, so 1, 1, 1, 1, then you can make plus of this span. So what is this number means? You can check this one in the text. Then you see 8. 8 means this is the size. So it will be 8 out of 12 span. Then you see these are 6. This is 6 out of 12 span. 4. This is also 4 out of 12 span. So you can see here the username, the password, so this one, this is something, the span input, it is based on the 6. Okay. So 6 span, it is out from the 12 span. And so on. Okay. So you can have 6, 6, 6, something like this. And then the grid classes. To specify a particular column width, we specify both the grid class and the span of the column. So the bootstrap has 4 classes: XS, SM, MD, and LG. So XS means extra small, SM means small, MD means medium, LG means large. So you need to specify this one because every device has their own format. So XS means something for phones, SM something for tablets, MD something for desktop or laptops, LG this is for larger desktop. Then you can see like this one. If you specify MD like this one, it is medium. If you explain LG, it is large. If you have XS, then it is extra small, and etc. It means if you have MD4, 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 then out of 12 span, you have 4, 4, 4. So this is 4, this is 4, this is 4. Then you want to split the whole bit into 3 different columns. And in the bootstrap, you can use some kind of template with these things, like the primary, success, info, warning, and danger. The primary is the blue, secondary is the gray, success is green, danger is red, warning is yellow, info is blue, light is white, and dark is black. This is one. Then you can see input. Here, login. So in the login, can you see here? Button success. What does it mean by this is success? This is the color of green. Now let me change if it is danger. So I need to change to PN danger. Okay. So I can change this one. Let's say I'm changing to danger. So if I change to danger, then now the color becomes red. Okay. So there is a definition whether you want to put there is primary, secondary, success, danger, warning. It depends on the button definition. So let's see. Now I want to make this kind of table. But how can I make a very beautiful table in the HTML? Yes, of course. But how? And let's do with this one. Index 3. I will make a new function in index 3 in the fuse.py. So the data is the same. Now I'm going to use hello table. Okay. So I'm going to use hello table.html. And then I'm going to use the 7. Okay. So 7 means the new URLs. Okay, I hope by now you already understand how to put the URLs. This is the new URLs, and then it refers to index 3 function. And then let me make the hello table.html in the folder templates. So I will make the hello
table
table
in the whole template, and then
this
this
is
is
HTML hello table. Hello tables
or hello tables with
Oh,
hello table
dot
with of S.
hello
Hello
table
table
dot
of HTML, and then I just copy and paste,
file, and then
then I will show it into this page.
Now you can see it is a beautiful table. You can click here and then you can sort automatically. You can sort the population. You can sort based on the country, and then you can search.
Let's say I'm going to search New York. So when I write new, then
it will show only New York. If I click USA, so all countries in USA will appear. Okay. Now, how can I reuse this code? So you don't need to code. You just need to call the data table. So this is the execution. And I will explain this one. In the views.py, I think you know this data. This is the name, and then this is the city. Okay. This was the previous data that we have. The name is Mumbai, the population is this one, and the country is India. And then we have the hello table. The hello table.html will be here.
hello table.
Okay, now let's see. In the hello table, we are going to extend the login based on the schema. So it means the header.
Okay.
The header is using the based on the schema. And then
in the block content, I'm going to put a
div container,
which is one,
and I'm going to make a table
with one ID, which is example.
So this table is using this class. This is class from the bootstrap. And this is also a class that we can use from the kind of CDN from database. City, name, population, country, and everything is the same, like this one. But now I'm using the style sheet. What is this style sheet? This is from the bootstrap.
Okay.
This is the style sheet from the bootstrap based on the data table.
So this is the template from the bootstrap about
creating table. So this is also another
bootstrap
is about the user interface. And there is also another kind of data tables with the JavaScript that you can just reuse it for making table. So you can just link or you just reuse
the existing JavaScript
and code, and you can just put it into the script. So in this case, I'm going to put everything on the document if the document is ready. So put it into the example and call the data table. So the data table,
it is from the
this one. This is the data table. This is the JavaScript. It is removable to read code. Okay. So we can just reuse this code and we can make our table based on this code. So this data table. It is based on the bootstrap. So you can make any good data table. So you can see the examples. Yeah, what kind of examples
you want to show.
For example, I want to have the base style. So this is the basic style. Or you want to make the data table with the bootstrap tree. Okay. So this is the data table with bootstrap tree. And this is free. So you can use, you can call into your HTML file. This is the way to call the data table. So the example means, you still remember? Sharp. In the HTML, we use sharp to indicate the section or ID. So if the ID has been indicated, so here the ID is example. Then the example in the HTML will be connected to the data table from this data table. So this function is available in the data table in the bootstrap. So you don't need to code, you just need to call. And you can change the data table based on the class here. So the class, there are some classes. So you can define the data table, whether it is table stripe, table border. So you can also check table. So there are many things: table active, table border, table borderless, table contents, table danger. So you can just call the class without any code. Then it will make the, for example, if you want to include the table danger, then yeah, it will be in your, or maybe it is overlapping with the table border. Okay. Yeah, you can change the class according to your needs. Oh, okay. Let's have a break. Okay, we'll continue after the break.